Today I'm going to be walking you through the powder and steel quest inside of Flintlock. I'm going to try to keep it as commentary free as possible, and I'm going to go ahead and just tell you any tips or tricks or anything that you need to know as I go along, just so it's easier for you. I'm also going to try and timestamp it so you can skip to certain parts that you might be stuck on. So let's get right into it. Now, something I'd recommend doing as you're going through this quest line is picking up every single material you can find. So wood, iron, sulfur, pick up as many of those as possible. And the reason for this is because at the end, you're going to have to go ahead and fight a boss. And I tried to fight him the first time without upgrading my weapons, and it made it very hard and it would have been pretty much impossible. So I had to go back and I had to pick up loads of different resources so I could upgrade my weapons. So I just recommend as you go through, if you see any, make sure to pick them up. In this walkthrough, I don't really pick them up at all. So just make sure that you do if you see any. There's plenty along the route to help you upgrade, so just keep an eye out for them.
bless us and keep us.
What are you doing?
Praying. Trying is doing me a bit of good, so felt only fair.
But the god can't hear you.
I know, but it felt appropriate.
Back! You rotten back!
He looks like he could use a hand.
Let's hope I don't regret it.
Appreciate the assistance. No,
Norvana.
yeah,
Just a lucky blow. So the Coalition chose you because you had been a trapper.
They chose me because I was good at making dugouts. And at crawling out of them when the dead would flood into them. And then they'd collapse. Often enough to get me a medal. Never wear it though. Can't resist to look at it. Do all the gods live in the Great Below?
Most of us, yes.
Then, do you know, do all of us turn into them? The dead?
Not exactly. When you die, your soul drifts to the Great Below, where the god of death takes away every sorrow and every memory, leaving you a clean slate. Your new body is unrecognizable in the Great Below.
So, you disappear.
From this world? Yes. But you will never forget.
At this point here, you have to fight a mini boss. Very, very easy. As you can see here. Yeah, you can go and take him out. You don't even need to use the ability I used here, really. It's kind of a waste. But yeah, go ahead and take him out. It's pretty easy.
So what happens to gods when they die?
I wouldn't know. No god has ever perished before. We could end up in the Great Below, like you do.
Or nowhere. It could all just be over. It's okay. I know the feeling.
This is as good a place to rest as any.
Okay, so at this point we need to go ahead and find the barrel, the explosive barrel, to go ahead and breach into the factory. And you want to go ahead and follow where I go, and it's up here. Essentially, you need to activate one of those warp things. I had already activated it by this point, so you don't see me activate it. But it's around this location here, I believe. Or potentially over here. Just kind of follow around and you'll see it. It's the thing with the skull on top. It's like blue sort of color. Activate it, and then essentially when you look up, you're going to see that warp zone there, that warp point, and that is essential to getting you up to the next location, which is where the barrel is located. So I think I realized here, oh yeah, I've activated. I think that's right there where I just stepped. There's also another one here. This is not related to it. But anyway, I decided, okay, I can't find it because I've obviously activated it. And I just went into it here. And then to go ahead and get the barrel, you just want to look up in the sky. It's on that crane there. And you go ahead and pick it up. It might be combat logged for a second. And then you can just go back down and place it at the entrance of the factory. And then obviously make sure you have enough bullets, because you do need the bullets to shoot it, to make it explode. And if you don't have any of those, then you can go back and melee some enemies and you're going to get the bullets. But there we go, that is the breach successful there.
That's a lot of dead knights.
As I said earlier, make sure you go ahead and collect as many resources as possible. There's a ton inside of the factory here, and I basically skipped over most of them. So as you go along, make sure to collect them. They're really, really useful. I got slightly confused at this point as to how I get up there. So you don't actually need to faff around and go all the way back here. You just need to carry on following it around, which I then figure out in a second. But just bear with me while I sort of jump up and down aimlessly, looking for the next point to jump to.
Take them down, or
Everything's been taken apart.
They collapsed the rails. Broke the equipment. Somehow the knights aren't just stabbing the coalition in the back. They want it crippled. What's wrong?
Now around here you're going to see one of those warp things across there that you can activate. I would recommend going ahead and activating it when you can. I don't, but essentially it just means you can quickly teleport back up there if you need to. And as I go around here you'll see the location to it, or as you go around you'll see where it is. And it's a slight detour, like a very tiny detour, but you can go ahead and activate it just so you can get back there if you fall down.
What's this then?
A welcome find.
More bodies.
Perhaps someone is attempting to break out of the factory.
We're nowhere near an exit. This looks more like a break-in.
Now around this point I make a silly mistake and I fall. Just make sure you don't do that. You don't actually need to jump off the warp things. You need to be on the warp things, and if you look straight up you're going to see that there's more warp things you can go ahead and attach yourself to, and you can keep going up and it will get you to the next section of the factory, just like that.
That's better.
Bohal will break you on the rack for what you've done, French filler.
Rack's too good for him. Maybe the pieces.
No. Soul's below, am I glad to see you? How
Thanks.
thank you.
I'll take.
Luca had distinctive magic about him.
They could now. Not him.
You saw his face. Those that dabble with the powers of the great below are always marked by them.
There has to be some other explanation.
So right now you have a few enemies to take out, and then we have to parkour our way up to the top of the factory here. It's actually pretty easy to get up there. There's a few bits that are a little bit hidden that you need to sort of figure out. You need to pull a few levers, that kind of thing. But if you follow the route that I take, although at some points I'm a bit confused, I do get there in the end. You can also climb up onto these little sort of like barrel bits which help you with your jumps, so I'd recommend that. Now, I'm not sure if I did this part here right, because it seems a little bit weird the way that I did it, but if you wait, I do activate the warp. So you can see here I have to go and like jump up on these barrels, and I don't do it on that one, so I have to jump even further up onto the barrels to get to it. Now, I'm not sure if this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it did work. So just like this, and then these barrels up here. It worked good enough, so I guess it's fine. Then we can just activate this and warp up to the next points.
I'll take off the roof.
What for?
Winter's coming. Snow and rain can soak the powder, make it worse than useless.
At least it's a way out.
Eyes peeled, Nor.
So right here it's a little bit confusing where you have to go. I was seeing, you know, where do I have to go? I tried to shoot this thing around here. I thought maybe this door would open, but actually there's a lever you need to pull, and it's very, very easy to do once you spot it. So I was like hitting the door, and then I think I did a 180, and I just realized where it was. And this hidden lever here is the one that's going to go ahead and activate the lift, so you can continue making your way up. Give it a second, as it does take a second to fall down, and then the rest of the parkour is pretty easy. And there we go, that is the way out of the factory and onto the next steps.
Looking for a fight, you animals? And fight me! Omaha's den. Are you sure she's in there?
Absolutely. It's on your own side.
Alright. Let's get this done. Peace be with you, Elder.
Over here!
Emu! What are you doing? fighting the other night.
They were rounding up my
Then-
to fight.
Why does this place feel so threatening?
Absolute control requires absolute terror, and these people have that in spades.
Intruder! Call the knight!
Clean. That's not ready yet.
Ramuha died.
The group's ahead. We're gonna find out if we can kill a god soon enough.
Ramuha always did stick to the shadows. Maybe she's heard what we've done already and backed down.
Let's hope not.
As you can see at this point here, I'm a little bit confused as to where the lever is to open up the door. You don't actually need to open a lever. You need to go round the top. So, if you go ahead and jump onto this ledge here, as I failed to do, that's going to be the first route to the top. So, jump across there like this, onto the next one, and we're basically going round the top of the gate wall. And you don't even need to actually activate the gate if you don't want to, but on the other side I just do it just in case. So here we go. I think you just follow it around here. And then I get to the sort of arrow, and at that point I look back and I realise, okay, I may as well open the gate. And you can see the lever is down there, which I go ahead and open now.
Finally, some respite.
There it is. The home of every knight in every storybook I've ever read. Never thought I'd step foot in this place.
So as you can see, this battle so far is relatively tough. They've got quite a lot of health, and you basically have to go ahead and take them out, but a second one is going to spawn, so you kind of want to try and do one at a time, really. I think if you knock into them, that's what makes them spawn. You could probably skip past them if you wanted to, but I just went ahead, defeated them, just why not.
Ready when you are. Sure beats walking. All of them. They say each leg was as tall as 3 men, and thicker than a wagon. They carried all of Writ on their backs and laid it on the mountaintop.
That sounds embellished.
Like you've ever seen one? Have you?
There are a few of these beasts left out.
Now, as you can see at this point, I was a little bit confused where you have to go. Sometimes the game doesn't make it super obvious, so I was like walking around here to see if there's a door that I can open. But no, you actually want to go into that room where the arrow is. Go ahead and then warp onto here. And what you want to do is there's another warp point up there, and another one. You're going to break through the window, and essentially you want to keep going around until you get to the top here, and this is where the boss fight is.
Told me about one. Now's the time.
She's a manipulative creature, an adept at twisting the truth as she sees it. Be careful around her.
Thus to all wrongdoers, whoever this. The judge's hall. Are you ready?
I can go ahead, talk to her. Maybe she'll back down.
No. We're doing this together.
Now definitely make sure you go ahead and grab this here, just in case you need to go back So for me, I had to upgrade my weapons and I had to spawn back here. Make sure you do this just so you don't have to run back that whole route again.
I feel like them. Farmers.
Judges, you are charged with treason and conspiracy to sabotage the Coalition's war effort. Step down.
So now I've just skipped forwards to me fighting the boss on the second go. Obviously, as I said, the first go I was way too weak, and it took me so long to even get like a little dent. As you can see here, the damage I'm doing with my sword gets more and more. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if there's some kind of build up or something. But yeah, the dodging is pretty easy, and I was basically just spamming the fox or whatever it is to build up the knockdown or whatever it is, the stun. I don't know what you call it. Basically the blue bar at the top. I was just kind of working on doing that because it seems once you do that it takes you to the next phase. But you know, all I did was upgrade my axe maybe twice, upgrade my gun once maybe, and it made the battle pretty easy, to be honest. But there we go, that's the boss battle over. Got defeated. It's not very challenging whatsoever. I think it's the first proper god of the game though, so that's probably why it's not too difficult. At this point you have to go ahead and speak to the whatever it is, and then you have to make your way back down to the base. You can pick up this item on the way, but when I was trying to find my way back to the campsite, it was slightly difficult. It wasn't super clear how you get there, so I was like looking on my map to see you know, if I'm doing it right or whatever. So it took me a little while to figure out the direction, and it probably isn't the best way. I don't know if I went the best way, but essentially I just backed up on myself and just followed the arrow round really.
That must have hurt.
Put 'em up.
Ramuha, guide and keep me.
When writs clean, the peaks will come.
Filler, stand down.
Is anything broken?
But here we are, you can see I am coming up on the campfire here to speak to Baz, and all you have to do is just rest at the campfire, and when you get back up, Baz should be sitting there. It should be a new campsite that you can teleport to, and you can speak to him, and that should complete the quest, and you should be given the new quest to go ahead and start working on. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I like this one a lot. It was good, especially the factory. I found that really cool. But if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.